Hello and welcome to India Today. I am Sanjay Ponnappa with Maruti Acharya. I just completed watching the latest Malayalam film, a Jeethu Joseph film, Valathu Vashathe Kallan. If I pronounce that wrong, I'm sorry. So the film stars Biju Menon and Joju George in the lead along with several other character artists. Before getting deeper into the review, my one-line experience of the film, I felt like the first half was almost all emotional. The interval point is where the intensity builds, where the story gets really interesting, and the second half is all about the game. And did I enjoy the game? I did. I have a few complaints about the film overall, but is it a good watch? Definitely. Getting deeper into the review, the film is about these two characters and everything that is going on around them. There is Biju Menon, who plays a police officer, a circle inspector, a really messed up circle inspector who is corrupt, who is not at all empathetic, and is ready and willing to go to any extent to make sure that people who are on his side are safe, irrespective of what are the repercussions towards the victims or whatnot. On the other side, we have Joju George, who is a very loving father who runs this cyber cafe in Kerala and is just always, smothering his daughter with love, has a loving family and whatnot. But there is a lot more to him than what meets the eye. While there's a lot of prelude to whatever happens before they come in contact with each other, when they do, the game starts, and that is when the film gets interesting. So now, what are the good things about the film? In my opinion, this is a Jeethu Joseph film, as in it does hook you emotionally in, it does have all these interesting moments, it has a case to be solved, there is a race against time as well. So it has all these elements which is there in a typical Jeethu Joseph film, and vis-a-vis at the end of the day, it is also a good, engaging thriller to watch. The way how the audience gets emotionally hooked onto whatever is happening on the screen is another good aspect about this film. Although it takes quite some time, and we'll get to that part in the later half of the review, the emotional engagement in the film is really good. The way each of their problems are shown, the way the stakes are set, and the way you also get invested in the kind of feeling that our primary characters are feeling. You get connected, you feel empathetic, you feel sympathetic, and at a point you also feel the vengeance, is when you can say that the director is doing a good job in emotionally communicating the film to the audience, and that in a thriller is really important. Another impressive part about the film, slightly on the technical side, is that whenever there is an explanation to be given, the director doesn't take the simple route of, the audience will understand. He actually gives an explanation. Even a little scene, a small transition scene, is important in that way. For example, there is a situation at hand and an ambulance is coming into the police station. It is not just said that the ambulance is here, but there is actually a little 10-second scene where they show the ambulance enter amidst all of the chaos and ask to park there. It plays an important part later on or not, irrespective, when something is communicated for a reason and the dialogues are there, and it has taken quite some time with the dialogues that this is important, a medical unit should be there while an investigation like this is going on. They also take 10 seconds of the screen time to show that the medical unit has gotten there. There are several moments like this in the film where just an explanation is not given, but action is also added to the narrative, and this makes the film a lot more engaging. Maybe it might go unnoticed, but at the end of the day, it adds a lot of value to the overall experience. For a Malayalam film, the technical department in itself comes with a certain standard to match up to all the time. That is what has been established in the recent years with its filmography, with the industry's filmography on a whole. And I feel like this one kinda just matches the standard set by a Jeethu Joseph film. There is music which plays in the background, there is really good cinematography, there is good editing, makes it a crisp cut at 2 hours 20 minutes or so. So technically the film is pretty decent. It isn't something that would stand apart. There isn't a BGM that you'll just walk out with the tune just running in the head. Actually speaking, the music and the BGM kind of falls on the underwhelming side, but on a whole, the technical departments are decent. Now, getting to the demerits in the film, this could be a little subjective, but the first half does feel long. For an overall runtime of 2 hours and 18 minutes to 20 minutes, a film which is so short in runtime should not feel so long and, kind of exhausting. It does feel that, and personally, I place the blame of that on the first half. The first half takes a lot of time to just establish the emotional aspects, and while you do get emotionally hooked, it also takes a lot of time to lay the groundwork, and I feel like that could have been a lot more crisp, that could have been a lot more tight, and you could have picked the pace up quite earlier. Another demerit or a complaint that I have is that overall I felt like this film is quite usual, quite standard. Like I said, and I still stand by it, it is a good watch, but is it anything more than that? I kind of feel like it is not. We've reached a point with the immense exposure to this genre that people start guessing what is happening and can kind of predict the narrative of wherever this is going. Even though there is a puzzle at hand, even though there is a case, all of that is going on, there's a lot of to and fro. The solutions felt like after a certain point were quite simple and right there. It felt like a treasure hunt more than an investigation. Maybe that is what the makers were going for, but it didn't really add a lot of value to the investigation. It is established that both Biju Menon's character and Joju George's character are people of high IQ, are people who have, are very intelligent, more than an average person. So when that is established, it felt like the answers were right there on the table of the office of the officer, and it was just happening on a pen and paper rather than a lot of action being involved at that point. I felt like that is something which has become quite usual, where the solution becomes a little underwhelming when the stakes are already set high. Like I said earlier, the music in the film kind of does underwhelm because it doesn't feel like anything new. It feels like you've already heard this tune. It is already there. It's a stereotype of sorts. When you watch a film like this is the kind of music that you will think about, and that is exactly what is there. It definitely isn't something which will, grab your attention or even elevate the film any more than it already is. So I felt like the music could have been better in the film. But overall, is this a good watch? It is a Jeethu Joseph film, and if I measure this film on a yardstick based on his most recent film and his most popular film, Mirage and Drishyam, I definitely feel like this film is a little better than Mirage, but is nowhere close to the experience that Drishyam leaves you with. Either way, if you watched the trailer and you found this film interesting, if you're interested in watching a film with Biju Menon and Joju George going up against each other, I definitely recommend you to go to the theaters and watch the film. It could be a good intimate watch on OTT as well, but irrespective, our stance, mine and Maruti Acharya's stance, will always be that if you found the film interesting, please do go to the theaters and watch it. There are a lot of other review videos that are coming that are already there. Do the searching and find those videos, watch them. Leave your opinions in the comment section below, what you liked about our review, what you did not, and any other opinion as well. With that, I am Sanjay Ponnappa and you're watching India Today.